Hi guys, welcome to Sports News episode 10. So since this is November 3rd, it is election day if you're watching from America, but we're not going to talk about any political stuff. We're just going to stick to sports. And also, I hope everyone had a very happy Halloween. So let's start talking about sports. We're going to again, it's going to be only football with the exception of one question that's not related to football. Um, so we're going to start with the NFL. The Falcons, they got their second win of the season with a Thursday night football win over the Panthers, 25-17. The Bengals, they upset the Titans, 31-20. Uh, this surprised me because, well, it just seems like the Titans, after they lost to the Steelers, I think they'd be able to beat the Bengals, but, I mean, they're really good. Corey Davis, he had a great game. Um, he's a Titans wide receiver. The Colts dismantled the Lions 41-21. Um, Vikings upset the Packers 28-22. Alright, so this is the Packers. Another loss for them. They started off strong and now they're losing a little bit of steam because this is like they've lost a few other past games. Dalvin Cook, he had 30 carries for 163 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Jets lost again. This time to the Chiefs, getting blown out, 35-9. And I have an interesting stat for you. So Patrick Mahomes, he had 5 total touchdowns in the game against the Jets, and the Jets have 4 passing touchdowns in the entire year. It's just really embarrassing. Not to mention the fact that they're also 0-8. Uh, the the um the Dolphins beat the Rams 28-17. Tua gets his first win in his first start. And into his first start, he had 93 yards and a touchdown. Not like a very impressive stat, but like it's good that he led them to a win. Myles Gaskin, the Dolphins running back, he sprained his MCL and will be out 3 weeks. So for me, it's interesting to see who they'll use if they're going to use Matt Breida, who, I mean, I'm still confused why they went with Gaskin in the first place, because they have other good running backs like Jordan Howard and Matt Breida. So I'm, I guess they've really had a lot of faith in the rookie. So, um, I don't know. Breida's been playing a little bit. Howard hasn't played much at all. I think they might go with Breida, but I'm not really sure. I'll give you updates on that of who I think they're going to pick or who I know that they've picked Saturday when I come to you with my fantasy football. The Steelers beat the Ravens 28-24. J.K. Dobbins, he played extremely well in the absence of Mark Ingram. He had 15 carries for 113 yards, which is extremely impressive. I mean, he was great when he played last year at Ohio State. So, the Broncos, they just barely beat the Chargers 31-30. And the Saints, they beat the Bears 26-23. And the Bears, they haven't looked this way the previous 2 games. They've been better than I expected them to be this year. Over to college football. This came out on Thursday. Trevor Lawrence, he tested positive for COVID-19. So he was out their game against Boston College, Clemson's game, that would be. And he's also out against Notre Dame this Saturday, which to me just makes it a really interesting matchup, as it wasn't a extremely interesting matchup before. he was out, and yes, he's definitely out. But it was it was a good matchup before, and I thought Clemson was going to win. But now um since Trevor Lawrence is out, I think Notre Dame is going to win, especially since Clemson, they didn't. I mean, they almost lost to Boston College. 34-28. They beat Boston College, but I think Notre Dame is going to beat them, especially since they're without Trevor Lawrence, and he seems to be a big part of the Clemson team. Notre Dame, they beat Georgia Tech 31-13. Alabama shut out Mississippi State 41-0. Devonta Smith, a Alabama wide receiver, he had 11 catches for 203 yards and 4 touchdowns, which is, you don't really see a receiver get 200 yards receiving. It's just mainly split up better. But I mean, Mac Jones, he didn't even have 300 yards. He had like 200, the high 200s. So it's just very impressive. Devonta Smith got 203 of those yards. Ohio State, they beat Penn State 35-28. And the Penn State wide receiver, I don't know his name, he's number 5. He made 2 great one-handed catches in a row, and one of them was a touchdown. So, I mean, that was just a really two really great plays on of the game. Even though Penn State ended up losing, Georgia, they beat Kentucky 14-3. Florida beats Missouri 41-17, and there was a fight at halftime in that game. So that basically does it. But I did get one question, and that question is, do I know when the NHL season is going to start? I don't know, but I can take a good guess. And being that it finished a few months ago, I'm going to say probably sometime in January. So it's going to probably be, I think it's going to personally, I think it's going to be a shortened season so that they can finish up the year. They can start and finish the year, do the playoffs, and finish everything, so then they can get the season back on track. So with their usual start time of early October. But I think it's going to be somewhere in early to mid-January. So probably mid-January is when I'd say it starts. But I don't know, that's just me speculating. So that's basically it for today. If you have any fantasy questions for Saturday, please put them in the comments. And I will answer them in the comments, but I'll also answer them Saturday. Any sports-related questions, just put them in the comments. So like and subscribe. Comment sports questions, fantasy questions, anything like that. So that basically does it. So like, subscribe, and comment if you have any questions, and that's it. So goodbye.